So good evening, everyone, and welcome to our 2023 membership year kickoff. My name is Liz Bogner. I'm the manager of volunteer experience here at Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan, and I am going to be your MC for the evening. But just to get us started, I just want to say that we are so glad to have you here this evening, and also to have you back for another fun year of Girl Scouts. And really, it's because of you all that we're able to accomplish our mission of building girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place. So we're so grateful to you for all showing up and for engaging and bringing your energy and your passion to empowering the future leaders in our world. So tonight we have nearly all of our staff teams here to give you the information that you need to have a successful Girl Scout experience this year. We're going to update you on our membership, our resources, and our initiatives that we're going to have going on this year. We'll also tell you about some of the events that we have coming up that you can attend with your troops, or some events where you can actually leave the kids behind. But we have a lot of ground to cover tonight, a lot of good stuff to talk about. So let's move things along and talk about how we can all work together to have a successful meeting tonight. So I know by now we're probably all old pros when it comes to Zoom meetings, but just to make sure that we're all on the same page here, there's a few things that I'd like to mention. So first, I'd like to ask that you all keep yourselves muted for the duration of our time here until we go into the breakout rooms that we have here at the end. There's a lot of us on the call here tonight, and even if we have a small handful of folks that are unmuted, it can get really distracting. So please make sure that you're muted throughout the duration of the webinar to kind of keep chaos at a minimum. And if you do have a question, we absolutely want to hear it. We have a chat function that you can utilize to ask any questions you have. The volunteer experience staff is going to be monitoring the chat log, and if we need to direct it to certain staff, we can absolutely do that. Be sure to use the chat log if you have questions. And also to keep our focus on the presenter, we ask that if you are an attendee, not staff, please turn off your cameras. And also our volunteer experience staff is going to be pinning the presenter video so that you can match a face with a name, or face with a voice rather. So if you could help us out by doing those things, that'll help us to have a great meeting here tonight. And now let's move on to our agenda. So in just a second, I'm going to be introducing our CEO, Monica Woodson, to welcome you all. Then after that, we have our Chief Operating Officer, Denise Miniletti, who will be giving us an update on our membership so far this year and how that compares to last year. Then we're going to get into our department updates. Rebecca Kowalski is going to kick things off with camp updates. Then we'll hear from Chris Nichols from our program team. After that, we have Justin Williams for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at GSSEM. Then Sandra Lesser from our Marketing and Communications team will talk about some important things to keep in mind when it comes to the Girl Scout brand. And then after that, we have member support. Jenny Praler is going to talk about the different functions of the different roles on the member support team, as well as some upcoming events for leaders. Paige Wiegren from our outdoor education team has some fun events that she'd like to share that we have going on this fall to get your Girl Scouts outside. Angela Chavez is going to take over after that for our product program team to go over some important updates on the fall product program and the Girl Scout cookie program, and some volunteer opportunities that they have available through that department. Rebecca Daniels is going to introduce you to the recruitment team and then discuss the meetings that we use to recruit new folks to Girl Scouts. And last but not least, we have my team, the volunteer experience team, and we will be discussing the new functions of our team and initiatives like volunteer only spaces, as well as take you through some of the new stuff you can expect to see this year in the volunteer toolkit and GS Learn. So you're going to be getting a lot of good stuff here tonight. And then once our presenters are finished, I mentioned we have some breakout rooms that we're going to have going. We'd love to have you be a part of those tonight. If you have any interest or questions about any of these topics, I apologize, I don't have DEI on there, but there is a fourth breakout room for diversity, equity, and inclusion, in addition to camp and outdoor education, Girl Scout cookie program, and the volunteer toolkit. So those will all be staff led. We'll be sticking around until everyone's questions are answered or until 8:30. Now I'm going to turn it over to Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan's Chief Executive Officer, Monica Woodson, so she can welcome you all back to another great year of Girl Scouts herself. But before she does that, she's going to lead us in the Girl Scout Promise and Law.
Good evening, everybody. Next slide, please. On my honor, I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law. I will do my best to be honest and fair, friendly and helpful, considerate and caring, courageous and strong, and responsible for what I say and do, and to respect myself and others, respect authority, use resources wisely, make the world a better place, and be a sister to every Girl Scout. Thank you, everybody. It's so good to see your faces as well as your names on the camera. So I would just like to very quickly, because I know we have a really aggressive and tight agenda, I would love to welcome you to a new year of fun, adventure, and discovery. The start of a new Girl Scout year is always exciting because of the possibilities it holds. Girls have so many opportunities to learn something new, to build lasting friendships, find out what they care about, and do something about it. Most important, girls get to do all of that and more with dedicated, caring support from you, our invaluable volunteers. I know the last few years have been challenging, to say the least, and I'm hoping for a brighter year ahead. I hope that things will only get better as Girl Scouts gather in the great outdoors, work together to serve their communities, and even spend the day in their troop leaders' living rooms planning the next big adventure. GSSCM will be here as a partner with awesome programming and customer care and service to help you deliver the Girl Scout experiences that build girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place. I hope you enjoyed tonight's kickoff event and come away with a renewed enthusiasm and interest, Also, please take note of any new resources and information shared today that will help make starting and running troops easier and more convenient. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Let's kick things off for a great Girl Scout year ahead.
All right, thank you, Monica. And next up, we have Denise Minoletti, our Chief Operating Officer, to share some news about our membership here at GSSEM.
Hi, good evening, everyone. We are looking forward to a year of more fun, more adventure, and of course, more Girl Scouts. We all know how impactful and effective Girl Scouting is for girls who participate in our programming and badge and high award earning. Through Girl Scouting, girls develop a strong sense of self, have positive values, seek challenges, build healthy relationships, and engage in community problem solving more than girls who do not participate in Girl Scouts. GSSEM is looking to get more girls than ever involved in Girl Scouting, with a special focus on reaching our girl membership high of 25,000 girls by the year 2025. We were so very close prior to the pandemic, and we believe we can get there again. I'd like to give you some membership numbers currently. You see on the screen there for MY20, well, Liz, I have updated numbers, so I'm going to use the ones I have on the paper here. Sorry.
Okay, sounds good.
For MY23, which began just October 1st, we have 9,365 girls and 5,379 adults. That includes lifetime members. For the year that just ended on 9/30 for MY22, we had a total of 22,878 girls and adults, with the breakdown of girls being 16,286 and adults being 6,592. So we have a ways to go to reach 25 by 25, but we know with your help as our great volunteers, we can get this done. However, we want to be more than just the numbers. More girls in Girl Scouting means more young women with the confidence and skills to make the world a better place. We appreciate all that our volunteers are doing to bring amazing Girl Scout experiences to our girls. We want to work even more closely with all of you to make Girl Scouts not just what girls do, but a part of who they are. I hope that all of you end this kickoff excited and pumped up for a great year ahead. Thank you for joining us to kick off the new Girl Scouts year.
Probably helps if I'm unmuted, huh? Thank you, Denise. So now we're going to move into our department updates, and we're going to start with Rebecca Kowalski, also known as Waffles, representing our camp team.
All right. Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to tell you all about our camp programs. First things first is we have some new leadership here with the camp programming. So, beautiful picture of us here. So first we have Emily Becker, whose camp name is Snail, and she's the assistant camp director. And then we have Jocelyn, who is our program administrative specialist, and her camp name is Indy. And then we have myself, and my camp name is Waffles, and I'm the director of camp programming. Super excited to be back here with Camp Playfair and Camp Hawthorne Hollow. And we have so many amazing ways to get your troop and your family to camp. So we have our next slide, which has our ways to camp. And you are all the first ones to see this, okay? So we have re-envisioned some awesome opportunities for our troops to get to camp. The first one is going to be with our outdoor education with Paige, is going to our community events. And you'll learn more about that later tonight as well. But then we have our special day events, and those are going to be at either Camp Hawthorne Hollow up in Columbus or at Camp Playfair in Lexington. And if you haven't been to camp before, you need to come. I want everyone to mark in their calendars. November 12th is not on the calendar, but it's about to be on there. November 12th is Harvest Fest. I want to see everyone there that day. It's going to be at Camp Hawthorne Hollow, so make sure you put that in your calendar. Text everyone that you know to come. We are going to make it a free event, so it's going to be family friendly, and everyone should be coming to camp to see what we have to offer. But besides all the Harvest Fest, we have a lot of special day events that we are trying to accommodate for a variety of different ages. So we want to do some Daisy Day events, and these are all going to be on the calendar very shortly. We are also going to have some leader training events while at camp. We're also going to do some outdoor education at camp and so much more. We also have our weekend retreats. So if you've been here around a long time, you probably heard of core camps, right? Core camps are now going to be referred to as weekend retreats, where it's all inclusive for your troop or adult and Juliet to come to camp for the weekend and be able to spend the weekend with meals, programs, and lodging while you're there. You don't have to plan anything, you just come. The next one is, okay, let's say your troop is ready to go to camp. You did all the outdoor training, which is amazing. And you're like, let's go. We're going to do Troop Camping Plus. Now, what this is instead of adding on the way before you would add on different activities, we are going to actually have activities there for your troop. So you'll have an evening with s'mores and camp songs on Friday. And then on Saturday, we're going to do a 2-hour session with your troop, so archery or some other winter activity like snowshoeing if the weather's right? We like to get outside. And then 1-hour sessions will go to our Winterberry, our art studio cabin that we can do some cool outdoor art. And then we'll also do a lot of low ropes, a lot of team building activities, and some special nature activities. Then at night, or if it's too dark, we'll do it the next morning. We'll do a nature hike for your troop. So the Troop Camping Plus, you are responsible for your own food, but the activities will be helping you out with that. So that is another way you can come and camp. The last way to camp is camp like a troop. This is where you're like, I'm a seasoned pro. We got activities that we want to do on our own. We have badges that we want to earn as a troop. And you just come and you can rent out some of our backpacks, but you also can use camp. We have tons of free activities to do while you're staying at camp. So that is one of the things that you'll be able to do, camp like a troop, if you just want to come for the weekend with your troop. What's really great though is that we are still building our spring schedule, because I had some service units reach out to say they want to do a all camp out weekend. And if you are a part of the service unit and you would like to do that, please contact us so we could put you on our schedule. We want you to bring your whole service unit, and I want to see which area can bring the most girls to camp, okay? So that would be something really exciting. And I know it's not mentioned on this slide, but we are going to be announcing summer camp offering sooner than later, okay? So December, we're gonna be able to have you start registering for summer camp. Summer camp is gonna be great, and I cannot wait to see more of our Girl Scouts coming to Camp Hawthorne Hollow and spending a week of summer camp with us. We're really excited. We're going to have it from Sunday through Friday instead of Sunday through Thursday this year. So we really want to make sure that you are all coming to Camp Hawthorne Hollow. And if you have any questions, feel free to email us, to call us. We are here to help you get your girls to camp, whatever you need assistance with of, you know, hey, I need meal ideas. We will help you out. We're the pros here and we want to get you there. So thank you. I'll put my email in the chat. So if you have any questions, go camp.
All right. Thank you, Waffles. A lot of great stuff happening at camp this year. I'm super excited about it. I don't know about you guys. So now I'm going to turn it over to Chris Nichols, our manager of council events and programs, who's going to tell us what's going on in the world of girl programming.
Thank you, Liz. Next slide, please. Okay, so there's a whole lot of the council events and programs team, or council programs and events team. I always get those mixed up going on. So we're just going to go over a couple really quick and a couple of very cool upcoming events that we have, as well as ongoing initiatives. So tonight we're going to talk about First Robotics, the highest awards, and other upcoming events. Next slide, please. All right, some of you may know me from the First Robotics program. Happy to say that we're not fully, or I am not fully leaving that, but we have hired Emily Becker, who as soon as, or I'm so sorry, Emily Kotick. We have two Emilys in the program department now. Excuse me. And she will be taking over the first program once we get her up to speed, which is hopefully end of the week. So for those of you who are not familiar with First Robotics, what is it? First is a global robotics community that does prepare young people for the future and world's leading youth, and it is the world's leading youth-serving nonprofit advancing STEM education. That's a lot of words to say that it is the world's largest robotics organization. Next, please. So you may know GSSCM has a robotics badges, so why are we partnering with this other organization? What can they offer that Girl Scouts doesn't already offer? There's a couple of reasons that we work with First. First has been doing this for over 30 years, so they definitely have a lot of experience. They are the robot experts, and they provide a really, really cool, really in-depth program for our girls that would be a little bit much for us to take on otherwise. They also have their core values, which you can see at the bottom of the screen there, that actually line up really well with what we do in Girl Scouts, where everything is girl-led, and we use the Girl Scout law as a basis for everything we do. So you can see there's some connections here with the core values. It's not just ultra-competitive robotics, it is really focused on developing the kids as people and also as good sportsmen and sportswomen. So their core values: discovery, innovation, impact, teamwork, inclusion, and of course fun, because what is Girl Scouts or robots without fun, really fits into what we already do. It also offers competition on a global scale. So that first photo that we had there, not the bowling one, the other one, um, is a picture of some of our girls at the World Championships. So the girls get an opportunity not only to compete with each other, but to really showcase what they have learned and what they have decided is a great way to improve the world on that global scale. Next page, please. So who can participate? We have First LEGO League Explore Teams, or FLLE, for Daisies and Brownies. We have First LEGO League Challenge Teams, or FLLC, for juniors. And we have a First Tech Challenge team that is not currently running this year, FTC, for cadets. And of course, at all levels, we need adult coaches. No robotics experience necessary. It certainly doesn't hurt, but FIRST is really great in that it provides a ton of training materials that you can use to help lead your girls through this process. So what GSSEM does is we support all Girl Scout robotics teams by providing additional funding, basic support, and ensuring that please excuse me, ensuring that our coaches and our girls are having the best time possible. Next slide, please. So how do we interact? What does each organization provide? First provides the yearly challenge curriculum. This year it is figuring out how we interact with electricity and how we can use electricity to make the world a better place. It also provides coach training and resources, robotics specific, competition for grades 4+, outside of the GSSEM Expo, which we host every year in the spring, and basic administrative functions. GSSEM provides our teams with partial funding for teams' first registrations, along with robotics kits and the yearly challenge kits. We also provide info and support related to badge and journey work because, of course, as you go along and do this, there are tons and tons of badge and journey connections, and not just the robotics badges. Those are the really obvious ones, but there are additional badges that do go along with the robotics program too. There's also the GSSEM First Robotics Expo, as I mentioned, that usually happens in the spring, and additional event opportunities. So I just threw a whole bunch of information at you about something that you may not have heard about before. So you should check out more at gssem.org/first and learn a little bit more. And of course, you're always welcome to email me with any questions that you have. Next slide, please. I'm sorry, we do have a lot to get through for programs, so I am talking very quickly, and this is all very, very surface level. But that's just an example of all the exciting things we have going on at GSSEM. So for highest awards, bronze, silver, and gold. Next slide, please. The Bronze, Silver, and Gold Awards are the highest awards a Girl Scout can earn. Each award is earned after a Girl Scout completes a project that addresses the root cause of an issue in their community. So these projects have to be a little bit sustainable. They need to have, sort of that staying power that they can continue to help members of the community even after the girls have completed their project. Each award takes between 20 to 80 hours to earn, so it is a lot of work, but there's a lot of payoff, and we'll get into that on the next slide. So here's a very basic breakdown of what each award is. The Bronze Award is available for our juniors to earn. Their troop leader or volunteer is the direct mentor for the girls. Girl Scouts must work in a small group, and their project should take at least 20 hours to complete. A great example of a Bronze Award project, I have a pile right here because they've all been due, so I've been going through them, would be helping the homeless in Detroit. This group, excuse me, created resources for homeless individuals in Detroit to help connect them with resources available in their community. A Silver Award, that can be earned by cadets. The troop leader or another volunteer is still the direct mentor for the girls. The Girl Scouts may work solo or in a small group. It has to be approved by GSSEM staff upon the completion of the award. And if you turn it in early enough, we can, of course, work with you and say, we think you could improve it a little bit this way, or maybe you need a couple more hours to finish, or can we improve the report a little bit this way? But there is that dialogue, there is some feedback. And the project should take at least 50 hours to complete. An example of a great Silver Award project would be We had a troop that I was reading about last week that taught the community how to make dog toys and then connected them with shelters where dogs need enrichment, that they didn't have enough enrichment activities to keep the dogs engaged and entertained. So the Gold Award is for seniors and ambassadors. We really recommend that they start that earlier rather than later. So 9th, 10th, 12th grade, or 9th, 10th, 11th grade. By the time they get to 12th grade, it's a little bit of a stretch or condensed timeline, but it can certainly be done. The GSSEM High Awards Committee assigns a mentor to each girl. So they have somebody who has been doing this for a while, working with them and is familiar with the Gold Award process. Girl Scouts must work solo, they cannot work in groups, and their project must be approved by the GSSEM High Awards Committee. Their project should take at least 80 hours to complete. An example of a really great Gold Award was, let's see, 2 years ago, we had a girl who, her grandmother was a judge, and she knew that a lot of younger kids are unfamiliar with the courtroom. And if they have a family member that is going through the court process, they might feel anxiety about it, they might feel confusion. So she wrote her own book that introduces kids to the court process and got that distributed to kind of help demystify that. She also got it translated into Spanish, so it was even more accessible to a larger group of people. So those are just sort of some very basic facts. More information is available at gssem.org/high awards, and I'll put all these links that I'm referring to in the chat as well. And of course, if you have any questions, you can always email me. Next page, please. So we do have some trainings coming up. Yay! The Silver Award trainings are recommended but not mandatory. The Gold Award trainings are mandatory for any girl who plans on pursuing her gold. These are our upcoming events, or I'm sorry, our upcoming trainings. All of these are on the calendar except for the TBD ones because our High Awards Committee is still securing locations. We like having a mix of virtual and in-person sessions. There are also virtual trainings available on GS Learn too. Next slide, please. Girls can also learn more about the highest awards at any age by earning the Precious Medals Badge. This is available in the Council Shop. This is just a very basic overview of what the high awards are, learning a little bit more about what it takes to be a Bronze, Silver, or Gold Award Girl Scout. And these can be earned as young as daisies, as old as ambassadors. Next page, please. And to wrap it up real quick, because I'm sorry, Liz, I know I'm going over, some of our upcoming events. Next slide. Here are some of our awesome events that are upcoming, and we'll talk a little bit more about Make a Difference Day on the next slide too, as well as some of our ongoing patch programs that can be done at any time, either individually or as a troop. All of those are available at the shop. Some of the upcoming events, if you're not at Harvest Festival, there is Chemistry Day, there's AAA Car Care, or there's the Creative Entrepreneur Workshop with Rebel Now, all on November 12th. We also have a Culinary Arts and Glass Blowing Workshop, separate workshops, and another Creative Entrepreneur Workshop with Rebel Now on December 3rd. Next slide. So Make a Difference Day. Every day we can make a difference here at GSSEM. So for the entire month of October, drop off any non-perishable goods at any of our GSSEM service centers during office or shop hours and receive a patch. This is the patch. It's beautiful. It's very fun. You can take as many patches as you have girls in your troop who have contributed, and this will be available at Detroit, Flint, Port Huron, White Lake, Clinton, or Southgate. We are currently distributing our collection boxes to all of these centers. So if there's not yet a collection box at the nearest location to you, that's okay. We can hang on to it. Otherwise, you can just drop them in the boxes there. And that wraps it up for programs and events.
All right. Thank you so much, Chris. Now I'm going to turn it over to Justin Williams, our Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer, who's going to give us a little update about DEI.
Well, thank you, Liz, for such a warm and wonderful introduction. I am excited to be here this evening. For many of you, this may be your first experience or exposure to me. I do see some familiar faces in the room as well, so that's always exciting. My name is Justin Williams. I am, again, the Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer here and began in this role January of 2021. My background is in higher education, nonprofit, law, and of course, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and I am a certified diversity professional. So now that I've got my bona fides out of the way, I'd like to share with you all as a group some things that have happened since I've been here in January 2021. So for the first year or so of this work, I've spent a significant amount of time focused on our staff, right? I do believe that living into our commitment to being inclusive and equitable starts with looking at our staff experience, right? Their skills, knowledge, and any opportunities for growth, and seizing on those, trying to buttress those in service to our greater mission. And so a few of the highlights, we completed some staff training, specifically on management with our management and leadership staff in partnership with the Management Center, not named ironically, focused specifically on leading teams equitably and inclusively. Sponsored the United Way of Southeastern Michigan's 21-day equity challenge, engaged staff in nearly a dozen DEI-focused lunch and learn sessions on various subjects, creating space to both teach and grow as we think about what our commitment to DEI looks like in practice. Executed a staff-wide inclusion survey, seeking feedback from our staff about their experience at GSSEM and better understanding our organizational culture to, again, support that commitment to inclusion and ensure that we are a place for all. Hosted multiple curated focus groups with some of our volunteers to better understand where some needs and opportunities are in that space. And you all will hear a little bit more about some of the things that are going to be forthcoming in relation to that. I also serve on Girl Scouts of the USA's DEIRJ peer group, essentially serving as a liaison between GSUSA and GSSEM on matters of diversity, equity, and inclusion and racial justice across our movement. And recently began engaging our staff in the intercultural development inventory assessment process, which provides some feedback and allows us to measure the intercultural competence of our staff to support that individual development and a stronger organizational commitment to DEI with increased adaptability, acceptance, and understanding of our differences. Our staff are in the best position to support you all directly as volunteers and also in greater service to the young people that we serve. So looking forward and thinking about what's next, I felt like this might be a good opportunity to share with this group a little bit about my vision for the work. And so when I think about the future of Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan, I like for us to all think of GSSEM as a place where you can bring yourself, be yourself, and see yourself in ways that are both new and familiar. And I think that that starts specifically with broadening the work that we're doing here to include the volunteer experience, right? As you all are in direct service to the young people that we engage with, it's hugely important that you all have the things that you need to successfully navigate and engage with a more and more diverse membership every year. So it starts with training, support, and resources. One of the things that was definitely evident in the conversations that I've had both anecdotally with individual volunteers and that small focus group session is that there's a lot of room in the work that we do to provide you all with the kinds of resources, training that would help you better engage with the different folks that you'll come across in this experience. So there'll be robust LGBTQIA+ training coming out. I know that there's definitely an appetite for that as the young people we serve are showing up in new and different ways, which we may or may not have the skill set today to manage and navigate. It is incumbent on us as we continue to think about growing this movement to provide you all as volunteers with what you need to engage and support these young people. You'll also start to see some very specific DEI content come out in webinar format that you'll be able to engage with at a time frame that works for you. I'm very aware of the time commitment that you all have as volunteers, and so my desire and goal in this process is to make content that's impactful and important, but also conscientious of the time that you have and the time that you give to us already. And so you'll start to see that with 4 15-minute DEI overview sessions that'll be recorded that you can view at your leisure. That'll launch the end of this October. There'll be 4 more of those coming this winter, so be on the lookout for those. And more will be coming out about that and communicated with you all at the appropriate time. There'll also be some support in terms of language and tools to support all of the different ways that girlhood shows up in Girl Scouts. Again, recognizing that that is changing. It's not a fixed point. And so making sure that you all have the tools and language that you need to best engage with these young people. And then continued development of strategy and language to articulate our commitment to support trans and gender expansive youth. Again, more will be forthcoming on that language soon. And starts with also a few more things, right? Thinking about accessibility in Girl Scouts, challenging ourselves to better understand what that looks like, assessing our programs, policies, and procedures, property, and the volunteer experience to identify opportunities to create space for all to truly enjoy the Girl Scout leadership experience. There'll be continued support and training for our camp staff to ensure consistency in the experience and better support for you all as volunteers, but also our Girl Scouts and caregivers as they explore the outdoors and camp experiences. There'll be continued individual support and counsel to all as we face the opportunities presented by our changing world and the various ways folks show up and engage in Girl Scouts. I've definitely had some good conversations with some volunteers individually about some opportunities that they're facing. Also engage with our staff in terms of troubleshooting and issue spotting as things have come up along the way, and that process will continue as well. We're also really excited about the notion of this 25 by 25, as mentioned by our wonderful CEO, Monica, at the outset of this process, and really even emphasized by Denise and sharing some updates on where our membership is. We're excited about the opportunity to get there, but there's a focus on ensuring that our growth is inclusive, right? And that starts with focusing on recruiting in the spaces where the folks who don't see us as much, right, or need greater access to the experience may be, forming some organic community engagement, right, building out a platform to help caregivers, families, community partners, community organizations, school districts, faith communities, and civic groups better understand the value in the Girl Scout leadership experience. Looking forward to a wonderful and amazing year. There is much to do, much work ahead, but the only way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. I thank you all for your patience as we've built out this work. For those of you who do these kinds of things, you recognize that sometimes you're building the car as you drive it. So we are indeed building this car as we drive it. Excited again about the opportunities that are out there for us, and I look forward to engaging with you all, answering questions, specifically in our breakout room a little later. So if you've got questions, comments, concerns, observations, feedback, please feel free to join me in that space. I love it. If I love anything, I love a good conversation. So looking forward again to that continued engagement, and I thank you all for your time this evening. I'm going to cede the floor so we can keep this train going.
All right. Thank you, Justin. So now we're going to move on to our Marcom update, and Sandra Lesser is going to take us through that.
Hello, everyone. I am the online content manager for GSSEM. I was very surprised when I realized it'd been 7 years that I've been here. It doesn't feel like it's been that long at all. I love it here. So really quickly, we're going to cover some brand refresh resources for everyone, some product guidelines and examples that you might not have known about, using Scout versus Girl Scout, and then I am in the process of building a brand new website for us. I'll give you a glimpse of that. Next slide, please. So as I'm sure almost all of you, if not all of you, are aware that we are in a transition of new branding, and it's a multi-year transition, so it wouldn't happen overnight. If you go to www.gssem.org/volbrand, that'll take you to our updated brand center, which will give you the most important information for when you create your own content and anything like that. We are working with our IT person to make it possible to go to links without the www. Right now we have to use them. So please ensure when you share that with anybody that you keep the www at the beginning. There is also a volunteer brand refresh training on GS Learn, not too long. Just even if you took it a year ago, I recommend taking it again. Just get familiar with it. It took me a while to finally adjust, and I'm still learning every day. You'll also be able to find out about materials you could make for your troop, anything you want to distribute. It should all be there in these resources, but please, if you have any questions, email communications@gssem.org and CC Yavankia Jenkins. She is the chief of our department, and we want to talk to you. So, oh, no, absolutely not, Coco. That's what we're going to talk about. Don't worry about it. Okay, next slide, please. All right, so for product branding and design, I think that a singular trefoil is very classy. It looks really nice, but we can't use it. Only National can when it comes to shirts or anything like that. So next slide, please. GSUSA recommends that we always use the 2 different acronyms in lieu of the trefoil. They prefer the vertical one. And email communications@gssem.org. We'll make sure that you get the correct size for what you need. We just need to know what the intention is. We'll definitely work with you. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. All right, next slide, please. They finally came out with some really great examples of fun patches with the new branding, but they really want to point out that they can't look like any official badge, award, insignia, or membership pin. The confusion from one council to another, we really want to try to move away from that. So next slide, please. These are fun patch examples. Please keep in mind, if you are creating a fun patch for your event, there is a lengthy review process on the end of National. Give yourself plenty of time is all I want to really put out there. With the new branding and the new standards, it's slowed things down. I would say give yourself at least 4 to 5 months in advance. Email us, we'll help you. I don't really deal with patches that much, so I can't give you a definite here. All right, next slide, please. Okay, so particularly with what has happened with the legislation with the Boy Scouts of America, really want to make sure that the word scout is never by itself, because it's Girl Scouts as our organization. And it's just really important to ensure that we are recognized and not associated with Boy Scouts of America. So GSUSA has asked that you never leave the word scout by itself. You always put girl in front of it. As you can see in the do's and don'ts, Girl Scouts are invited to, not just Scouts are invited to. We've got to keep pushing that. This programming is incredible. So make sure it gets attributed to the right organization. All right, next slide, please. All right, we have a preview of our brand new council website. And it has definitely, if you've been on GSUSA's site, you'll see that the navigation has changed quite a bit. But Liz Bogner and I discussed this, and we don't want anyone to panic. We will be working to ensure that you're provided with a video walkthrough. Your volunteers, you are incredibly important. We need to make sure that you can find what you need. So you will get a video walkthrough later on in the year, and Liz will just make sure you know where to go. We'll also be able to get a communication platform for staff for any possible issues with the website. And so you could always talk to your service unit specialist, and that'll come to us. But I promise you, we're not going to ignore everyone. I want to make sure that this is flawless. This is my baby right now, so I need to know that things are working. All right, I think that's it for me. Thank you.
All right. I can't wait for that new website. I'm super geeked about it. I'm super geeked to put that video together that we're going to do. That'll be great. So thank you, Sandy, for that Marcom update. Now we're going to move it over to Jenny Praler from our member support team, and she's going to go over some volunteer support stuff at GSSEM, as well as some upcoming events for our troop leaders.
That website looks really exciting, Sandy. Thank you. Hi there, everyone. I am Jenny Praler with our member support team. On behalf of Nafisa Williams, our Director of Member Support, we wanted to introduce you to our member support team and tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do. Next slide, please. Our Service Unit Support Specialist role recruits and supports administrative volunteers, including service unit managers, welcome champions, resource champions, and communication liaisons. Service unit specialists provide resources and support to administrative volunteers so they can in turn support troop level volunteers. The service unit support specialist position also supports Juliet's or individually registered members. Gail Dubinsky serves communities 1 through 6, and she can be reached at gdubinsky@gssem.org. And Matt Pruitt serves communities 7 through 12, and he can be reached at mpruitt@gssem.org. We are always looking for new volunteers to join community and service unit teams. So if this is something that's interesting to you, please get in touch with Matt or Gail. Next slide, please. Our first year troop support specialist position provides support to new troops and leaders during their first Girl Scout year. This includes attending troop meetings to support leaders and hosting new leader roundtables to provide resources and networking opportunities. Amber Downs serves communities 1 through 6. She can be reached at adowns@gssem.org. Community 7 through 12 is currently a vacant position, but for support from any of us, you can email troopsupport@gssem.org. And we'll put that email in the box, the troop support email for you. Next slide, please. Member support specialists provide support and resources to returning leaders. This includes providing the latest updates and information from GSSEM, support with troop planning, including Volunteer Toolkit or VTK, interpretation and updates of GSSEM and Girl Scout USA policies and procedure, problem solving, and first level conflict mediation. We can really help you or direct you to just wherever you need to go. So I'm Jenny Praler, and I serve communities 1 through 6. I can be reached at jpraler@gssem.org. Community 7 through 12 is currently vacant, but again, you can use troop support at gssem.org. Thanks, Matt and Nafisa, for dropping that in the box for you. You can use that email. Remember, anyone can always get a hold of any member of our member support team by using the troop support email, troopsupport@gssem.org. Next slide, please. We wanted to share some department initiatives with you. Renew Now. The membership year for 2023 began on October 1st, 2022. Please review your troop roster to ensure all your members have been renewed to the new year. Next slide. The troop update form is a place that you can let us know your troop updates. So please visit www.gssem.org/troop update to complete a troop update form for membership year 2023. You can update troop details such as meeting frequency, day and time, desired number of girls and adults in your troop, and even request assistance with recruitment or support needs. Next slide, please. Upcoming events that we are hosting coming up. GSSEM Virtual Troop Leader Meeting. Put this on your calendars. It's October 26th, 7 to 8 p.m. GSSEM staff will share important council updates, essential troop leader resources, and you'll have some time at the end to network. GSSEM New Leader Roundtable, November 3rd, 7 to 8 p.m. You will receive the latest updates and resources from GSSEM's first-year troop support specialists. You will also be able to network with other new leaders. The topics we'll cover will include the Volunteer Toolkit, or VTK, navigating GSSEM's website, troop finances and the annual troop financial report, and planning your Girl Scout year, plus much more. Please register for these informative events, and we look forward to seeing you there. Are there any questions anyone has for member support? You can go ahead and put them in the box if you like. Thank you so much for having us.
All right, we will wait for those member support questions to roll in, and we can get you answers to those. But in the meantime, we'll throw it over to Paige Wiegren from our outdoor education team, who is going to tell you about some fun outdoor events we have coming up.
Good evening, everyone. I see quite a few familiar faces and some new faces that I haven't had the pleasure to interact with yet. So hopefully I see you at some of these events I'm about to list off. I am your lead outdoor education specialist. That's a new title, so I'm still getting used to it. But that's kind of a long title. I like to refer to myself as kind of the fun aunt in the council. I get to plan all the fun activities and send your Girl Scouts home with things that you may thank me for, you may not thank me for. One of those events in particular, if you want to switch to the next slide, I'll kind of put that blurb in there as we go along. But I have a Halloween slingshot night coming up soon. There's 2 events for that, one on the 13th and one on the 27th. And here comes that fun aunt topic again. I'm sending your girls home with their very own slingshot, ammo, and target. You can thank me later for that. Other events, just focusing on Girl Scout sisterhood, like apple ciders and donuts, go on a hayride, get to pick some apples and just have a good time with your fellow Girl Scouts. Other high-risk activities, axe throwing in Woodhaven for our older Girl Scouts. There's quite a few horse activities coming on the calendar. We have our ponies and pumpkins for our younger girls. That's daisies through juniors. And then we have our horses and gingerbread houses. Those are December events. I just added another event for December 10th since the December 9th one is almost filled up. But now that I hopefully have you on the hook with some of these fun and exciting titles, I'll tell you a little bit more about what my goal is for council, is to bring place-based outdoor and environmental education to your backyards. We obviously have 2 of our fantastic camp facilities within council to use. A lot of girls take advantage of that, but we have another aspect to our outdoor education where I come to you and offer different activities in your communities that hopefully interest you. So I have a few things that are on the calendar already. It's pretty jam-packed through the middle of November. Things are getting added daily and weekly, so just make sure you check that out, and we'll put the link for it in the chat box so you can get a direct go to it. Just to hopefully pique your interest, I'm going to list off a few things that I've been working on to hopefully get you on the hook here. So if you can't tell from behind me, I really love fish. So there's a few fish activities that are hitting the board. We're going to take some girls sturgeon fishing for fish that are bigger and older than them. We have an inland sea school ship that sails all throughout the Great Lakes. They're going to be in the Detroit River this summer. So it looks like a legit pirate ship. It's really cool. The girls get to go out on it. They learn all about Great Lakes science, get to go for a sail, get to drive the boat even. Also, we're partnering with a bunch of great organizations throughout the state because people can only listen to me talk and teach for so long. So we bring other cool people in to teach you other cool stuff too. We're going to be hosting a workshop with Michigan DNR to make your own snowshoes. Also forge your own knife. You can be a blacksmith for a day if you want. Also, you could turn into Robin Hood too. You can make your own bow and arrow. We have a couple of scuba diving experiences coming up that'll be hitting the calendar pretty soon. We're also doing a progression outdoor cooking. So all Girl Scout levels will get to come out. They'll get to first cook something super nutritious. And then of course we have to throw in the sugar and they get to cook some dessert of some sort. Then we send them home to you. And then we're also going to be doing winter tubing and sledding events and throwing some more snowshoeing there. My personal favorite, getting back to fish, we're going to have an ice to table event. Pending the girls' interest in this, we're going to bring them out ice fishing. If no one's shy about it, we're going to teach them how to fillet the fish, and then we're actually going to cook the fish up on the ice. Again, pending interest, participation as you want. No force there. Since the last couple of events that I've hosted that have gotten girls out and waders, they really love bug searching, which makes my little nerdy heart happy. So I'm working with all the watershed councils throughout our area, and we're going to be hosting a couple winter stonefly searches, and this will be part of a community science event too, where the girls will actually be able to catalog their data and be part of a much larger picture for some Michigan science. We're getting back to one traditional that was my favorite as a Girl Scout, the freeze-in. This is going to be for our older girls, where they actually get to make their own shelter outdoors, learn outdoor cooking, and then they sleep in that shelter in the winter outdoors for a night. We're going to be bringing in some other women-led organizations. There's a special organization called Women on the Wing. They focus in upland bird hunting and waterfowl hunting, if that's of interest to anyone. We're going to be bringing back maple sugaring and trees in winter. And then we are also going to be bringing in more nature art activities too. Watercolor painting, using different textures out in nature to create your own art. And then we're going to switch back to water again, learn to sail along the Detroit River with Detroit Community Sailing. And then also a possible fun overnight event for cave camping and rafting underground. So hopefully nobody's fallen asleep yet and one of these activities has interested you. I think next slide, Liz. No, that's it. Oh yeah, okay, this one. If you want to get a hold of me, I enjoy my job and I want to offer what you want. So if you talk to your Girl Scouts in one of your meetings, have them have a little poll, see what they want to do, see if there's something that they want to see on the calendar. They can even contact me and we can work together for them to have a girl-led event, something that they work to plan, and we can get it up on the calendar. So I am here to serve you and I want to offer what you want. So if you need to get a hold of me, that's my email. Yeah, have a good night and thank you for this.
Thank you, Paige. Sounds like you got a lot of our staff very interested in coming to your events, myself included. Next, I'm going to give it to Angela Chavez from our product program team, and she's going to get you up to speed on the fall product program and the Girl Scout cookie program.
Hi, everyone. I'm Angela Chavez. Next slide. And I have the product program department. We have a small but mighty team. We have our product program specialist, Paige Callahan, Heather Dantuma, Marissa Jewell, and Heather O'Connor. So these are the ladies who are behind our product sales at gssem.org. Next slide. And I'm going to go into a little bit about some important dates for the fall program and for the cookie program, some training opportunities, different department resources that we have, and then volunteer opportunities. So fall sale has begun. These are some important dates. We've already passed a few, but so our fall program began on officially the 30th. We had early sales on September 19th. It is a very quick and easy sale. The fall program really promotes proceeds early on for troops and promoting financial literacy. It's a very hands-off sale, so it can be completely done online, and that's a favorite of the volunteers and troop leaders. And then our fall pickups are going to be November 10th, 11th, and 12th. And then rewards will be available for pickup the week of December 5th. We've also implemented where you can do an early pickup of your cookie kit along with your fall sale rewards that week as well. So of course, we still have the option to have it mailed, but like last year, we are going to continue having the cookie kits available with the fall sale rewards as well. And then Our ACH sweep for the program is going to be December 9th. And then I've listed our fall program resource page. I know it's not a pretty link, but it can, if you go to our webpage, you can just type in fall program resources and it will take you right to it. Next page. So here are the important cookie dates. I'll just go by each one. We do have some trainings that I'll have after this. So if some of the verbiage doesn't sound familiar or is a little bit confusing, we do have a ton of trainings that go over what each of these words mean. So October 17th, you can expect the cookie kit request form to go live on our webpage. This is where troops would go and enter in how much material they'll need for their girls for the cookie program, where they would like the kit sent, or if they plan to pick up at a GSSCM service center along with their troops fall sale rewards. And then the week of December 5th, like I mentioned, the troop cookie kit will be available for pickup. And then December 16th is the official start of our cookie program. This is where girls can start taking orders through the paper order card or through digital cookie. And then January 26th, all of those paper order cards and any orders for girl delivery will be submitted for our initial order on January 26th. And then that order will be picked up by the troop leader or someone in the troop on February 11th, 13th, and 14th of 2023. And then we do have our special program opportunities, one being the big game booths, or previously known as the Super Bowl sneak peek. So we will be continuing with that, more information on how to apply for those. But basically it's an early selling before the sorry, the direct sales begin. So that is, the applications are going to be due January 11th, and then the actual big game booths will begin February 11th. So that's prior to our booth sales start date. And then February 16th, our cookie cupboard's officially open. That's when you can go ahead and get more cookies for booths to stock up your inventory if you have extra orders or if you have booths lined up. We do have warehouses where you can go and get your additional orders. And then February 17th, that's the official day of the booth sale beginning. So troops can start selling at places of business that they've set up or booths that they've secured that in eBuddy that we have set up as a council. And then on February 27th, the ACH sweep is going to occur for all of our initial orders. And then we are going to have the booth sales concluding on April 9th. Typically our cupboard times will end on April 10th. Usually we'll give a last pickup date on the following Monday. And then April 11th is when the troop reward submissions are due. So all of your final rewards. And then April 21st, we have our final ACH sweep. So all of the remaining amounts due to council. And then mid-May, you can expect the troops rewards to be available, and we're planning on having that for distribution at the service centers as well from, I believe we did that last year as well. Next slide. Okay, so here are our training opportunities for the cookie program. So we have what's called Cookie Rookies. They're geared towards just the general basics of the cookie program, kind of some glossary terms of Girl Scouting and the cookie program, important dates, navigating some of the databases, what to tell your families and girls, and a theme reveal, as well as just some insider tips and tricks. And then it's, of course, either recorded or live. So I suggest if you are a newer leader to attend one of our live trainings for that more one-on-one opportunity to ask a question or get that details that you're looking for if you do have questions. And then next slide. And then, so we have our cookie rookies, which is really a general overview of the cookie program. And then we have our cookie cafes. These are more in detail on different topics of the cookie program. So we have one dedicated specifically to digital cookie. We have one dedicated specifically on how to use the eBuddy database, navigating the initial order submission, cookie cupboards, how to pick up your cookie order at the delivery site, and then how to close out your sale. And what's good about these is we have assistance from Liz and her team, and they do a nice presentation on different topics for troop leaders as well. So it's kind of 2 for 1. And then we also have some cookie cafes for parents or caregivers to kind of go over the program for them. So if you want to have your parents attend and we can take some of that weight off of you guys, we have those set up for you. We have one for the general cookie program and then one for digital cookies. So both of those are geared towards caregivers, and we can answer any of their questions and be of assistance in that way. Next slide. Okay, and then in addition to the trainings, we do have virtual drop-in office hours. I have scheduled these office hours very close to important deadlines for the cookie program or on the deadline. So we have one right on initial order submission date, just so that troop leaders or volunteers can drop in to get any last minute questions they may have, or something pops up. I know typically you don't really have those questions until you're going through it. So we do have those set up, a couple different time options there. It's always a possibility we can add more as well, but we do have those virtual drop-in office hours. Otherwise, we can be reached at productsales@gsscm.org. And then I've listed our support group for on Facebook. It's just if you search Product Program Support Facebook group or GSSCM. And then I've included our resource page, which if you go to the search bar on our page and just type in cookie resource page, that will populate. It should be updated for the new season, December 5th. However, like I mentioned, the cookie kit request will be live on that page on October 17th. Next page. And then we have some volunteer opportunities with our product program committee. Heather O'Connor is our lead with this committee. So we have a couple different things that or subgroups that we have. So we have event support, logistics and material assembly, and then training session support. So any of these, if you are interested in either joining the product program volunteer committee or just interested in more volunteering opportunities with our department, not necessarily joining the committee, but just volunteer opportunities in general, you can email hod'connor@gssem.org. Next slide. Oh, there might be a little, yeah. So this year's theme, just a little sneak peek, is Go Bright Ahead. And I've included the little mascot. If you participate in the fall program, you'll know that this is also the fall program's theme. They're combining here. So we have the new cookie raspberry rally, and then the mascot is the dolphin. I am blanking on her name, but we have the dolphin, and then the theme is Go Bright Ahead for this year. And it looks like we have one question. Little Brownie Baker has increased, I believe, some of their production. So we're hoping that we do not run into any of the supply chain issues that we've had last year, as you know, globally supply chain issues. But if it does happen, I'm sure we'll have a backup plan like we did. But we are hoping that we are not going to run into that, and we're hoping for a very smooth cookie program, smooth and seamless. With that, any other questions in the chat?
We'll keep an eye on the questions in the chat, but for right now, we're going to keep moving right along because we want to be respectful of your time and get the webinar portion done by 8. So I'm going to move it over to Rebecca Daniels from recruitment.
Hi, everyone. It's great to see you all. I wanted to share some recruitment updates our team has going on. So our recruitment team is responsible for new girls, new adult members, and of course, our new troops that are being formed. Our recruitment team would love to help you with recruitment. If you would like to gain additional members within your troop, we would be happy to create and order flyers for you or have a conversation with you to see what the best way our recruitment team can assist you. So I just wanted to reintroduce our recruitment team to you all. This is going to be the recruitment team for communities 1 through 6. The recruitment manager for communities 1 through 6 is Chastity Benson. The recruitment specialist for communities 1 and 3 is Keosha Murphy. The recruitment specialist for communities 2 and 4 is Sherry Warner. For communities 5 and 6, that's Michelle Lanthier. And then Bailey is going to be covering our communities 1 through 6 and all of our community and faith-based partners. Next slide, please. So for community 7 through 12, I am the recruitment manager for community 7 through 12. Claudia King covers 7 and 8. And Josh Smith-Bogan covers communities 9 and 10. And currently communities 11 and 12 is vacant, but you can always reach out to me. I will also include my email address in the chat. So if you need help identifying who your recruitment specialist is, then I'd be happy to connect you with them. Next slide, please. So currently our recruitment team is hosting 2 different types of recruitment meetings. The first one is going to be our family information meeting. So at this meeting, recruitment staff provides information about Girl Scouts to families with the goal of starting a new troop. So once a new troop is formed, then recruitment staff works with the new troop leaders to onboard them into the new troop. We always get a lot of questions as far as like, where are we hosting our family information meeting? So I would love for you guys to be updated on that and potentially even come out and help us with promotion or even be a mentor there. Our full listing is going to be available at www.gssem.org/info meeting. And that's going to be updated with all of our upcoming family information meetings. The other recruitment meeting that we host is our troop organizational meeting. So recruitment staff attends this initial meeting with all of our new troops. The purpose of this meeting is for families to get all of the information on the new troop, meet the troop leaders, and then recruitment staff is present there to assist with the registration of girls and any additional volunteer support that we get at that meeting. So lastly, if you know of any schools or locations that you think we can host a recruitment meeting at, please connect with us. We would love to hear from you on areas that you can help us get new troops formed at. And again, I will include my email in the chat. And then if you need help referring to figuring out who your recruitment specialist is, I would be happy to connect you with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. And now we are going to move on to our final department update, and that is for my team, the volunteer experience team. So if you've never heard of the volunteer experience team or know what we do, I'm going to go through it briefly as I introduce my team, and all of them are going to talk about the initiatives that they are working on. So basically, the volunteer experience team is here to help you have a good experience when you volunteer here at Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan. So we don't get into the day-to-day support kind of stuff. That is what member support does. But we have a 3-pronged approach to how we go about making sure that you feel like you have a good experience. So first, we have a new function for this year, which is compliance. And currently, Katie Snover is holding down the fort on the compliance end of things. And she's going to get into what she does in just a second. But this is the stuff that helps us just to make sure that you feel prepared to lead a troop and that your troop stays healthy. Then we have the connection piece. This is providing you with some volunteer-only spaces in which you can learn, network, and of course have some fun. And Nora Ashu is responsible for that. And last but not least, we have content. And these are the resources that can help you boost your knowledge or your ability to have a successful Girl Scout year. Those are things like GS Learn and the volunteer toolkit and our trainings as well. And I also work with trainings as the manager of volunteer experience. Wendy and I kind of tag team that piece. But I'll let my team tell you more about what they do. And we're going to start with Katie.
Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here with you all and also to recognize a few names. It's so good to see you. So just really quickly, some of the things you might see my name pop up on your inbox for our appointments or reappointments of your troop position, and that's going to be for any role like a product sales manager. We'll also be reaching out to you about annual finance reports. Remember, those are due June 21st every year. We're also going to be reaching out to you about disbanding and splitting troops. So if that is coming into fruition, if maybe something you're considering, we definitely want you to reach out to your member support specialist first, and then you can reach out to myself or Liz or anyone else on my team about disbanding and splitting troops. We're also going to be requiring some trainings from now on. So we're going to be reaching out to you about training completion. And then also, if you have any questions about travel and activity approval or trainings for that, you can reach out to me, and also volunteer to girl ratio as well. Next slide. And GSSEM volunteers are going to be appointed on a one-year term of service. At the end of that term of service, volunteers are going to be eligible for reappointment. So soon you're going to be receiving an email, probably in 2023, saying that you are eligible for reappointment. Next slide. Oh yeah, so beginning in membership year 2023, GSSEM will begin sending out formal appointment and reappointment communications to all troop leaders, troop product sales or troop product program managers, troop support volunteers, and troop treasurers. Next slide, please. And now we are requiring some training just to ensure that everyone has the same resources to make sure that you're all successful and have great Girl Scout years. First, for new troop leaders, we are requiring troop leader orientation and also grade level essentials. So that's going to be for first year leaders. And then for troop product program managers, the fall product program training and the Girl Scout cookie program training, which are both annually, is going to be required. And then for your troop support volunteers, they are going to be required to take GSUSA new volunteer onboarding, which is also called What Girl Scouts Do. And then troop treasurers are going to be required to take the troop finance learning path. And then also, Volunteer Essentials is GSSEM's policy manual. If you've been on a training with me, you know I like to call this secretly the volunteer handbook. It has everything you need in there, so please make sure that you take a look at the Volunteer Essentials. You can find it on our website if you go to gssem.org/safety as well. And also my favorite document, the safety activity checkpoints. The safety activity checkpoints tells you how to keep your Girl Scouts both fun and safe. If you have a question about an activity, if you can do it, if you can't do it with your troop, it is definitely in the safety activity checkpoints. Even something as simple as marching in a parade or holding a virtual meeting like we're doing right now, there's a checkpoint on it. We do update these checkpoints every year, so please make sure to check it out when you can. And then we do have a few new trainings for membership year 2023 that I highly recommend taking a look at. The first one is GSUSA Daisy Pedal Badges, which gives you an inside look at all the Daisy pedals. And then we have the GSUSA inclusive programming. We have some mental wellness 101 trainings as well provided by GSUSA. And then we have information about our new programming that is coming out. And then our GSUSA Resilient, Strong, and Ready patch, and also a training on saving time as a troop leader.
All right, and we're going to have Wendy walk us through some of the other trainings that we have going on here as soon as my slideshow gets unstuck. Wendy, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go for it.
Thanks, Liz. Good evening, everyone. I'm Wendy Peace, and I am a volunteer experience specialist focusing on content. And just like Katie mentioned, we do have some new trainings this year. One other thing we have new this year are grade level roundtables, and we're looking for a few experienced volunteers to become panelists for these. If you're interested in sharing your expertise with your fellow newer leaders, please reach out to us. Next slide, please. If you haven't done so yet, now would be the time to set up your troop's year plan in the volunteer toolkit. There's been some updates to the toolkit this year, including some year plan add-ons, some new and updated program content, guest speaker email templates that can be used to invite subject experts to troop meetings, and foundational year plans. Next slide, please. Some other updates include using the Explore tab to add content to your year plan without resetting or deleting it. You can use the Delete Plan button in the Year Plan tab to delete your year plan and start over. Deleting your plan will also delete any attendance and achievements that were recorded, so just be aware of that. You can click the Past Years button to look at last year's year plan. There's a new end date of September 30th for this year's plan. And soon caregivers will be able to RSVP to each meeting in the volunteer toolkit. Next slide, please. GSUSA has replaced the Daisy Handbook and Petals with new Daisy Petals and a new handbook for Daisy Girl Scouts. These new materials are designed to thoughtfully guide a Daisy, her parents, and volunteers like you through the first 2 years of Girl Scouting. This integrated approach includes newly designed petal content, new badge booklets for girls, including a full volunteer guide, and a program outlined in the 3-step 2-choice format. All of the content was designed through a DEIA lens for an inclusive Girl Scout experience, and it's important to note that the design of the petals are not changing as part of this new material launch. Next slide. Next is the Brownie Pets badge. While the design of the badge is not changing, the content of the badge has been updated to give girls a new modernized approach. Next slide, please. The financial literacy badges have also been updated to give a new, more modern look and feel. The new badges include new content for Daisies through ambassadors. The new content includes hands-on, age-appropriate activities that provide the opportunity to think about financial literacy from an outdoor, STEM, life skills, entrepreneurial, and global lens. Next slide. And 3 new STEM career exploration badges have also been added, one for Daisies, one for seniors, and one for ambassadors. And these badges complete the popular badge line that was launched in 2020. And now I'm going to turn things over to Nora Ashu.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's enjoying themselves, as I am. So get into the spirit. Yay, Spirit Week. So throughout October, we want to keep the new girls going with this energy for the new year. So holding our annual Girl Scout Spirit Week is October 17th through the 22nd. You can find a bunch of different ways to participate in the Spirit Week and show your Girl Scout pride through the Spirit Week checklist. Our Spirit Week checklist is available at GSSEM/Spirit Week. And if you complete the checklist, you will be eligible to receive a Spirit Week patch. Spirit Week patches will be available for purchase at the council shop between November 1st and December 1st. Also, if your troop has plans to participate in Spirit Week, please post those up at GSSEM with pictures and posts during your Spirit Week. Next. I am so excited and passionate about this. The volunteer mixers. The volunteer experience team is hosting a volunteer mixers throughout the year, and the next one will be the night at the museum. We'll be partnered with the GSSEM Archive Committee to open GSSEM museums for tours. Out by the fire, you'll have Girl Scout songs and games, as well as opportunities on how to teach girls to make fire starters. We'll also have some sweet treats. This event will be held at Walled Lake Service Center on Thursday, October 20th from 6 to 8. Be sure to bring a lawn chair. Next. Register now for Virtual Volunteer Conference. We hope you join us for our Virtual Volunteer Conference. This will be the day full of Girl Scout knowledge for you to access from your comfort of your own home. We'll be joined by key speaker, Dr. Karen Ann Boyle Crapes from Michigan University. We'll discuss importance of the art integration of education. We also will be having 12 breakout sessions covering many aspects of troop leadership. The Virtual Volunteer Conference will be held on Zoom Saturday, November 12th from 9 to 3. Please register at gssem.org/VVC. Next. Volunteer National Awards is a simple but meaningful way to express your appreciation for volunteers who have gone above and beyond in the volunteer role as Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan. There might be a co-leader, a cookie mom, a grandma, a dad who helps out at meetings, your service unit manager, or maybe even a troop leader in another troop who does a great job in working with their girls. So why not show your gratitude for that work and do nominate them for Volunteer National Award. I know we can beat our 43 honored nominees from last year, but we can't do it without you. So please sign up. You submit your nominations at gssem.org/VOL recognition. We also have documents to explain the criteria of each at the same page as well. Another way to give your volunteers a pat on the back is nominating them for Volunteer Spotlight. Each month, we publish a Volunteer Spotlight post on Girl Talk blog that features individuals, volunteers who go above and beyond to give their girls a remarkable Girl Scout experience. We also highlight the blog post on Leaders Newsletter. If you know of a volunteer who has been valuable, dedicated, inspirational to their troop, service unit, and more, please consider them in nominating them for the Volunteer Spotlight blog. You can access the nominations from gssem.org/spotlight. The Volunteer Experience Team is looking to establish membership program. New leaders as they get started. Mentors will provide practical knowledge for leaders, troops, including troop management, working with troop support team, managing product programs on behalf of a troop, and anything else that might come up with the troop setting. To start off, we're hoping to get 25 experienced volunteers from all across the service area. If you're interested, please submit an email to Volunteer Experience, and we'll post that on the chat. And that's it from me.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, team. So we're a little over time for our webinar, but we are here for some additional time to lead these breakout rooms. We have one on camp and outdoor education, another on diversity, equity, and inclusion here at Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan, one for the cookie program, and one for volunteer toolkit. But before we move into the breakout rooms and before you guys go, we do have a survey for kickoff because we want to make sure that these webinars that we ask you guys to attend are responsive to what you want and you need. So if you could please take the time, it's a super short survey, I promise. It won't take you more than 5 minutes. If you could just provide your feedback, it would be such a huge help to my team, especially as we're putting together webinars like these in the future. So go ahead, click on that link, open it up for when you get done with being in the breakout rooms. But for now, I will go ahead. I'm going to stop our recording for now.